time, Hebrews 2, sons unto glory, remember? Alright? Now, what the Lord came to do is to raise up sons unto glory. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. By virtue of the glory first invading our lives, the glory saturates our lives and begin to overflow from our lives. And the earth shall be filled with his knowledge and glory. As the water covers the sea is symbolic of great number of people. When the Bible talks in the book of Psalms, and his hand shall be upon the sea, he is talking about great number of people. It's symbolic of a multitude. So when he says, and the earth shall be filled with his knowledge and glory as the water covers the sea. In other words, we will get to a point where the earth will be filled with people who are loaded with God. Loaded with the glory of God. And until there is a transfer of what we carry on the inside onto several persons, we are wasting time. We are wasting time. It is not going to happen with like you have like 70, 75 or 80% of the people in the city that are religious, they go to church, but no glory. The people who actually carry the glory are like 20%. The problem we have is not that we don't have people who go to church, but the problem is we have people who go to church without the glory. So many people who don't manifest the glory of God. And so, just imagine the way we come out of our churches on Sunday, that everyone is burning for God. Hello? Just imagine the way we came out from church, from our, coming out with our vehicles, and some people trekking, and we are just entering into the society like that. It will turn upside down in 1 week. But the problem is that people come out of the church not manifesting God, but manifesting flesh. People come out of the church and branch up to beer parlor, branch up to prostitute, and branch up to all kinds of nonsense and vices. We are not. See, we have people coming out dry, empty, lifeless, spiritual wise. So the number that comes out, see, when we go to church, we are supposed to catch the fire and run and spread. As we are coming out, we become much more hot than when we went in. Because the sun is meant to stir in us a fire. The word is meant to stir in us such fire that when you're coming out, you feel you are looking like you're looking for opportunity to lay hands on somebody. You are just looking and let me see one sick person today. That sickness is dead. When was the last time we left church like that? New Year Day was a Sunday. New Year Day was a Sunday. I was seated in church. Everything was happening. Pastor was preaching. And the Spirit of the Lord, while I was seated in church, the Spirit of the Lord reminded me, years back, one New Year Day, several ones like that. And after the service, I went out. New Year Day, or Christmas Day, one of them. Christmas Day that day. One New Year Christmas Day. Alright? And as I was seated there, the Holy Spirit reminded me, and I saw myself in the hospital praying for somebody in the hospital. Then I was impassioned of that. So, I easily just walk away like that. Alright? Now we didn't plan this, and the Holy Spirit is speaking to me now. And I was in church, the message was going on, but the Holy Spirit was speaking to me. And then we closed the service. As we said amen, I walked out. And I told my wife, she's going to get the children. I said, okay, just excuse me, I needed to go upstairs. So I went upstairs. I finished what I went upstairs to do. As I was coming out of the office, yet were two women who were minding their own business. But immediately I came out, they saw me and said, hey, please. There is this case. Yeah, thank God we see you. We've seen you. There's this case. I said, what is the case? And I'm going to tell you what it was. There was this boy who had been admitted for some time now in the hospital. He had an erection that wouldn't come down. No, it wasn't like he said, frankly. It wasn't like he said, frankly. It was an erection that wouldn't come down. And the thing was just there, and it was so painful. The doctors had done everything. He was just there. He said, wow. Okay, it was 1st January. I think you spent Christmas here. The woman said yes. And as I looked at her, now, before I went, when people told me about, see, there's this boy in the hospital, and we were just wondering, they don't need to convince me why. By revelation, as I sat down in church, the Holy Spirit has taken me, I saw myself in the hospital. So they don't need to convince me, otherwise, I don't need to. Alright? I would have prayed with them and said, oh. But as he told me, as I came out with them, I said, I'm going with you. Because I know the Holy Spirit has said, go. The Holy Spirit had already taken me there. Before I even got knowledge of the situation. Alright? So I just told my wife, I said, I will need to go to the hospital. And it's not far. So we all entered the car, drove there, back, and I went up. And I got there, and I met the mother. They came all the way from Woodie. You didn't know how far I wanted them. They came all the way. And they've been there for that long. No, nothing was happening. So I looked at her. They wanted to start telling me plenty story. I said, don't worry. The Lord has gone ahead of me. Yeah. So as I was praying, the woman was wanting to raise the cloth to shake. I said, madam, don't worry. Just relax. You'll be fine. So I prayed. I didn't have to share. I said, he's fine. And I walked away, entered the car with my family. I went about the celebration of the first day of the year. And then, you know, sometimes we pray and just look at God has done. Yeah. It was only last week here. Frankly, it was only last week here. I don't have the phone number of the ladies who invited me. It was only last week here. And he said, thank you. God bless you. I said, what happened? He said the next day was discharged. The very next day was discharged. There's a dimension of revelation knowledge that reveals the glory. If you go by your human calculation, if you go by patterns, say that's how the person prayed the other, you miss it. There's a dimension of revelation. The earth shall be filled with his knowledge and glory. Philip was standing by the way, and then he heard the voice, go join that chariot. And the Bible said he ran. He ran. He didn't stroll. He said, go join. He ran. And God, the chariot was still moving. Can you imagine? He was running. He said, oh, do you understand what you're reading? He said, how do I understand? He said, somebody explained to me. He said, I'm here to explain for you. So he joined the chariot. By the leading of the Spirit of God, he joined the chariot and began to speak to the man. And the man was so overwhelmed with the glory. See, the word precedes the glory. It's not our shouting. It's the word. When you pray without the word, you are making noise. There won't be no revealing of glory. You're making noise. So, Philip spoke with him. He gave his life to Christ. And the man said, yes, what I want for you from being baptized. Immediately, he went down and he baptized the man. As the man went in and came out, when he opened his eye, Philip was gone. Supernatural transportation. The Spirit took him from there and he appeared somewhere else. We're talking about the glory invading the I'm talking about situation where you are in your house and you're praying for somebody miles away. Some strange things will happen this way. Amen. And I'm not just coming here to make noise. Let me tell you, I told you that we will have experiences when we pray. If really we are praying, we will have some strange experiences. And I didn't come to tell you that because I'm just trying to sound good, want to raise your hope and make you feel like, oh, there's something new. No. I heard, so I spoke. All right? And some of them I saw, so I declared. When I told you that, a number of the time I also said amen to those things. A number of the time I said, you will see certain things in my life you never see. Now, for every day of this year, there have been the unfolding of the glory of God in different dimensions. There are two experiences I've had in the last 1 week, which I've not even told my wife. Alright? That makes me realize that there is much more than what we think this glory invasion is. And some of them I'm still like trying to process it. You can have a revelation for 2 seconds that will take you 2 weeks to understand. You don't know what I'm talking about. A download from the realm of the spirit for 2 seconds can take you 2 weeks to unfold or to completely understand, if not more than that. There's the dimension of glory that you want to release us to. And so when Saul was on his way to destroy the saints in Jerusalem, in Samaria, on the way, road of Damascus, there's this bright light that, it's not the light of the sun. There is the light that is greater than the light of the sun. It's called the light of glory. Jesus just stood on the way. The horse that was carrying him could not advance any further. Everything. There was this glory that was so strong that the blinded saw. He became blind and began to look for help. Jesus was talking to him. He alone was the one who saw most. The men that were with him were hearing it, and they could not explain what was happening. He got up from there, seeking for help. And he was in a house for 3 days, 3 nights,